This is the plaintiff, Chad. He says he hired the defendant to make him some custom t-shirts for a national motorcycle event. The t-shirts were all sold ahead of time, and when he got the box of merchandise, he was horrified. The printing was all messed up, the sizes were wrong, and he was embarrassed beyond belief. The defendant's a terrible businessman who won't give him a refund. And he's here suing for the $6,000 he's most surely owed. This is the defendant, Michael. He says the plaintiff came into his shop in a panic because he needed the t-shirts rushed and delivered for an event. He did the best he could under the circumstances. He clearly states he doesn't give refunds and is happy to redo the t-shirts the plaintiff's complaining about at no extra charge. He's accused of holding his ground.
All parties, please use your right hand. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Chad, you are suing Mr. Michael's company for $6,000. You say you are out as a result of them breaching the contract. Talk to me. What happened?
Well, on September 2nd, I got a hold of Michael and told him that I had 2 t-shirt designs that I needed for an event that was going to be happening about the middle of the month.
Okay.
And
what kind of event was this?
It was a motorcycle event. And I said I'd called a few other places and they weren't able to get me in, and now I'm calling him. And
because it was so short notice?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was. A lot of the other places were too busy. They had other orders that they were doing and whatnot.
So you needed, it was September 2nd when you called them, and you needed it for when?
September, I needed them by the 14th. The event was on the 16th.
Yeah, that's kind of quick. All right.
Right,
So had you ever done business with them before?
I have not.
Okay.
Right.
So go on.
Michael said he was 90% sure he'd be able to get them done by that time, but he needed to see my designs, so he would tell me for sure.
All right. And when did you get him the designs?
Later that day, I went in there with my father. I gave him the flash drive with the designs, and he copied
What
them.
day did you give him that?
The 2nd.
The very day that you made contact with him is the
Right.
day that you went in there and gave him a flash drive with the designs?
Yep, I called him earlier that day and went in there
Got it.
in the afternoon.
Okay.
He took the designs, he transferred them to his computer in a software application that he uses, and looked at them, said, well, one of them is 2 colors. It should be pretty simple. He had no problem getting them done by that date. The other one was 4 colors.
Did he say anything about the formatting?
He did not.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he did. He said, I need them in, what were they? PDF and something else. And
What's the something else?
the JPEG. And I said, well, them are JPEG. And he goes, yeah, they should work fine. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he told me what the colors were, whether they'd be difficult or not. But he
How much were you paying him?
it was $956.80.
$956.80. Because on that day
Or
you said
$756.80. Sorry, my bad.
you said you were going to order X number, and then as it turns out, you call back when to say no, I'm only going to order Y number.
Right.
Which was less.
So on that day, I told him that I needed 40 of each design.
Right.
Okay?
And then
And they gave me an initial estimate, and I said, well, I have to go back to the motorcycle club and say, and tell them what the price is. And I would call him as soon as I heard back from them to let him know if that was something we could do, okay, or if I needed to, change the sizes up.
Okay.
So at that point, it was only an estimate.
okay. When do you actually then tell him how many you want?
On the 7th.
Okay, so on the 7th, you tell them how many you want, and I noticed that there's an email where you also send the designs that you had made.
Yeah, on the 7th, I went back into the shop and I told him the sizes that I needed now that were approved, and his worker or wife said, well, what does that, we have a minimum and that meets the minimum, so we're good.
Okay.
Okay. That's when I got the final invoice, which I paid that day in full.
Okay.
And when I was leaving, his wife or worker.
Are you the wife or the worker?
I'm an employee.
She's an employee.
Okay.
So we got that straight.
Yeah. So as I was leaving, she said, hey, can you resend me those designs just in case?
Okay.
And I sent them that night.
All right, so you didn't change the formatting or anything? Okay.
No.
All right, so I got it. So then on the day that you're supposed to pick it up is what day?
The 14th.
And what happens on the 14th?
Well, I was supposed, first of all, I was supposed to go see samples of the two designs on Monday the 12th.
Okay.
On Monday the 12th, I emailed Michael and I said, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it today. Work is holding me over, but I can be there first thing in the morning to approve the designs.
And he says?
And he says, why not make it Wednesday? Okay. So I replied back and I reiterated to him, it's like, I'm supposed to have samples on Monday. Are we still on track to have the whole order complete by that Wednesday, the 14th?
Okay, so did he have them ready on the day that you needed them?
He did not.
All right, so what happens?
Okay. Well, when I called on the Wednesday, he said, I'm not going to be able to have them done today, but I'll have them done tomorrow by 5:30.
Which is the 15th.
Which is the
okay,
15th.
And did he have them done by 5:30?
He did not.
What happened?
I went in to check on the shirts at 3:45 after work, and he says, I'm not going to be able to have them done by 5:30, but I'll have them done by 6:30. Come back then.
Okay.
Okay. When I left the shop, I called my father and I said, hey, I got to get stuff ready. We're supposed to be leaving here to go on a 16-hour drive to the event. I said, can you pick those up for me? Okay. He said, yeah, no problem. So at 6:30, he went in there. He's told that they're not ready and that they wouldn't be ready until 8:30 or 8:45.
So then what happens?
So then he leaves and he comes back later on, and again he's told.
Okay, wrap it up. When do you get the shirts?
A little bit after like 11:30 at night.
11:30? All right. And nobody inspects the shirts?
They were packed up already, and we were
So
in a
what?
rush.
Everything's packed up that comes to my house, and then I take it.
Well.
I open it up and I look at it. That's how I do it.
We were
Okay.
supposed to leave at 8.
So nobody inspects the shirts. You drive your 16 hours, you get to the venue, and you are unhappy with the quality of the shirts. Why?
We get to the venue, and we do a quick inventory, and we notice that all the sizes, as far as the quantities, are not there.
What's missing?
The 3Xs were missing.
How many did you order of
We were
those?
supposed to have 3 of each.
Okay,
Yeah.
and had anybody told you, hey, we can't get 3XL?
No, not at any point.
Okay, go on.
So we have more of sizes on some of them that we ordered, and then we start looking at the ink on the shirt because they're screen printed.
Let me see.
Okay.
What's the problem with the ink on the shirt?
It's not solid. It's faded. There's ink missing in different spots. The front is not lined correctly. If you look at the 5 on that shirt, you can see there's missing ink.
Are all the shirts there?
All the shirts.
Are all the 5s the same?
All the 5s are the same. And then if you look at the front on the.
If I look at the C in the word
Yeah, and it's
F
crooked.
blank blank blank.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it's crooked. And then if you look at the back,
I don't know if it's crooked, but it's missing some.
Yeah, and then if you look at the back, it's faded and there's missing ink by the O.
Right.
And quite a few places, yeah.
Okay, so he's unhappy with the quality, Mr. Mike, and he wants a refund. What say you to that?
Okay, Your Honor, I was the one that really handled the work order with Chad.
Okay.
When Chad came into our location, he presented us and we gave him a quote of all the shirts that he wanted.
Let me see.
So this is the quote. And Your Honor, notice that I have the artwork highlighted. He stated to us that he was a graphic designer and that he would produce the artwork fees. And he did not produce the correct files for us.
Did he have a
Yes, on Saturday.
a flash drive on that day?
Yes, on Saturday he presented us a flash drive, and we told him that we needed these these images to be presented in a PDF format, and he said that he would be able to do that, and that's how he avoided.
But what? It's not that big a deal to convert from JPEG to PDF.
Well, it is because of the uniqueness of the image. We need to be able to stretch the image for the shirts.
No, I'm not saying why do you need it in PDF. I'm saying you click a button and you convert it to PDF. So why did he have to convert it from JPEG to PDF?
If you have JPEG, you try to convert it over, you only get about 80% vector.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then that's going to be distortion. So that's why we had to recreate those files altogether.
Okay. Did you have to recreate the files?
Yes.
Yes, that's why we charge the artwork fee. We charge $25 per design.
What is it I should be looking at here? You've highlighted that there's nothing under artwork fee.
The artwork fee is what we charge the customer. So I was presenting that to let you know we didn't charge him the artwork fee.
Because he's supposed to do it.
He was going to provide that for us.
Okay.
Yes.
So you tell him, give it to us in PDF, and did he give it to you in PDF?
No, he didn't.
All right, so go on. So you, according to you, you tell him to change a format, and you don't get that till the 7th.
We don't get that till the 7th.
Do you have any text back and forth where you're saying, hey, we still need the correct format from you or anything like that, or no?
I do.
Well, there was a lot of communication went on over the phone also.
I know, so that's why I'm asking, is there anything that I might have missed where I can actually, because each side has a very different story about why it takes from the 2nd to the 7th. But all right, so according to you, by the way, when does he tell you how many shirts he actually wants?
He places the order on the 7th, and that's when he comes in and pays at after.
And that's when he tells you how many shirts he actually needs?
Yes, so he changed the order 3 times because when he came into the location, he reduced the order again.
Okay, so that's the day you order the shirts.
No, we didn't even order the shirts yet because our cutoff time to order shirts is at 4 p.m. in order for us to get them in the next day or the
All right,
next
so
2
the
days.
next day you order the shirts.
On Friday, we ordered the shirts.
And then there are not any
There's
3XLs.
not
Do you
any
ever tell him that?
We did communicate
On
the
the phone?
information. Yes, we
Do
communicated.
you realize how important, have you ever been sued before?
No.
Do you know how important it is to communicate by email with your clients so that there isn't any debate about, yeah, that's the way to do it from now on. You can talk on the phone all you want if you want to talk on the phone, but then you send a follow-up email that takes 1 second that says, pursuant to our conversation, just, you know, reiterating that blah, blah, blah. And then that's it, you're covered, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so now on the 7th, he is sending attachments. And when he sends these, are they in the right format?
No, they're in PNG, and we requested PDF format.
So then what did you do?
Actually, I was waiting for him to send me more files.
Why don't you just tell him stop it and send it in PDF? You still send it in the wrong thing if you have been telling him to send it in PDF.
Well, he gave us confidence that he said he's a graphic designer from the beginning.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. You get these and they're in the wrong format. The next email should be, they're in the wrong format. We said we need them in PDF. Why don't I see that email?
I think you don't see the email because we're dealing with other customers and things like that. So when we didn't even open we didn't really open the email because we already knew that we already talked to him about the files that we needed. So on the 12th, notice he sent that email on the 12th. That's when we were going to start printing his order.
And that's when you realize it's in the wrong format?
Yes.
Maybe not the best policy then.
Right.
But all right. So in any event, you print out the shirts. I'm looking at the shirts, and the shirts do have, you know, they're missing ink, and there's a couple of problems. So what is your store policy? How is it that you relate that to the customer? What do you propose to do about it?
This is our store policy, and this is where we take our payments. So we have a big printout of our store policy.
What is this? A banner? What is it?
Yes, it's actually displayed on the front desk where we take the payments at.
All right. How long has that been up there?
At least a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not sure when you put it up there, but because I noticed that your quote doesn't say it. Why doesn't your quote say it? It should be on this document.
Well, we had it on there, but we.
I hear you, but I'm telling you that for the future, it should be on this document too. Is there ever a written contract between you guys?
Yes.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah,
Maybe it's on that.
This is just the same thing that we typed up. And
So it's not on that.
No, this is not on. It's just the.
Is there ever a written contract between you folks where both sides sign or not really?
No, just when the payment is taken. This is just the information.
Okay, let me see
where
that.
This is the invoice that we sent him on Tuesday, and then, like I said, on Wednesday he came into our location.
Okay, this should have the policy on it,
Right.
and it should have a place for him to sign right under where the policy is.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how you avoid court. Now, according to you, Mr. Chad, you never saw this on the desk that you were at?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Right, and according to you, you think they put it up after the lawsuit.
Right.
Why?
I actually have a picture here of their store where it shows that same desk with the banner and without the banner.
Right, but did you take that picture?
No, I got it off their website.
Right, so you don't
Right.
know when they put it on their website.
Right.
Right. So that's not going to be probative of whether it was there when you went. What did you think the policy was going to be? Because in most of these cases, I've done a lot of these cases, and that is the policy in most of the cases, that your remedy is to have them remade, which they offered to do. When you finally looked at them and said, I'm not happy, they said, all right, we'll remake them. So why would you think that a refund was possible in this case?
A few reasons. The place I came for, if they did shoddy work or the order wasn't completed with the correct quantities and sizes, then they would make it right. They would refund it or they would redo it. In this case,
they were offering to redo it.
In this case, they couldn't redo it because this was specifically for an event which they were well aware of. Okay.
But that doesn't change what your remedies are. Right. That changes whether your remedies are good or not for you.
The other reason
Hold on one second. Just stay right there. Yeah?
Your Honor, I have some information that Chad had submitted to us. He gave us the permission to cancel the order, not proceed with it. It was going to be too rush of an order. So this is on Monday, September 12th. Chad sent us an email when we could not produce the demo.
Yeah, he said, are you going to be able to do this or not? Right. Because if not, I'd rather not proceed with the order.
Yes, and that's when we tried to get in contact with him, and we have an email where we tried to get in contact with him, and there was no response on the phone, and then we sent him an email stating, Chad, can you call us immediately?
Yes, I know, but then you said yes and went through with the order. It's not, you can't, listen, if you can't do it, don't do it.
Right.
Right? You can't just say, we tried to tell them we couldn't. No. Either you have taken on a job you can't do, or you haven't taken on a job you can't do.
Yes.
I am more interested because my job is not to figure out whether this was a good idea. According to you, these were all pre-sold?
There were pre-sales. All I had to do was...
Can I see the evidence of the pre-sales?
All I had to do was collect the money.
Right. So let me just see the evidence of the pre-sales.
I don't have it.
How could you not have evidence of the pre-sales?
This was all posted on Facebook and through emails and phone calls.
Yeah, I know. Right. Exactly. So how can you not have evidence of, see, you ordered an even amount of stuff, so I don't believe you when you say they were all pre-sold. You're suing for your lost sales on the premise that you couldn't deliver something that was pre-sold and you had to give everybody's money back. That should be very easy for you to prove. So show me where you had to give everybody their money.
Your Honor.
Right, because they weren't pre-sold. You were going to sell them there. Now, my question is, was this authorized or unauthorized?
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says the T-shirts he got from the defendant were the wrong size. They were all messed up, and he wants his money back. But the defendant says he's happy to redo the T-shirts again to the plaintiff's liking, but he doesn't give refunds. Let's see what the judge thinks.
Sometimes when I go to a baseball game or a football game, there will be the NFL authorized ones and they're $50. And then there will be the unauthorized ones, which are just as good in my head for my ilk. And they'll be much less. Were these authorized or unauthorized?
They were authorized.
Okay. If they're pre-sold, then the remedy should be redoing them. That's what you do when they're pre-sold.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, look, I agree with you that they're not up to par, and I agree with you that it was horrible how you had to waive it. I also think that you waited until the last minute to order them, and I think that this was a very foreseeable event, the way this shook out. And on the 12th, frankly, if you guys couldn't do it right, don't do it. Just say, you know what, you're right, we can't do it. Of course, then you'd have to give him back his money, right? And nobody wanted to do that. So what happens is you go forth and they're not great. They're not the worst thing I've seen. I've seen a lot of really bad stuff, but they're not great. So the question becomes, what is your remedy? Do you have the right to demand a refund, or do you have the remedy that this store claims to offer, which is that they'll do them again because they want you happy? Your remedy doesn't change based on whether or not it's not a good remedy for you because it was for a specific day, because everybody has a T-shirt for a specific day, so no. So your remedy is your remedy is your remedy. On your side, you have that this doesn't say it, which it should.
And the receipt.
And then what did you want me to look at?
And also their entire website doesn't show it either.
Their entire website. Do you have it on your website that there's no refund?
We don't have it.
So you don't have it on your receipts. You don't have it on your website. You don't have it on the estimate. You don't have it on your emails. How long have you been working there?
I've been working there 2 years.
Are you related to him in any way?
No, I'm not.
Okay. How long has this been up?
That's been up because our lawyer actually recommended that we put something up. That's been up almost up 2 years.
At least a year and a half, 2 years.
Did your lawyer recommend you put something on your website?
And we were supposed to put, I think we were supposed to put it up there, and I don't know if it didn't get up. I don't know what happened, why it wasn't up there.
You know, Your Honor, we did have that on the invoices, but when we ran out of invoices,
Yeah, I know, it's
Oh, that's off.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah, so it's not even, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he ever ask about refunds or anything
No,
like
because he was so pressed to getting the order done. He was so pressed to getting it done. When we did call him and contact him about saying, Chad, we just really feel like we cannot get this done, he said, please try to get it done because he wants it. That's the purpose of him going down there to sell the shirts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you're suing for a full refund. Then you're suing for $1,680 in profits because they were pre-sold, which you had no evidence of having to return that money to pre-sales. You're suing for $1,060 for wasted time and $2,500 for embarrassment.
Well, reputation, the motorcycle club probably won't contract me again.
Can I see the contract from the motorcycle club?
I mean, it's verbal.
All right, what were you going to say?
So when we initially discussed this order, we have two. We have a manual and then we have an automatic. When he decreased the order, we had to focus on the manual because it would cost us more money. It would cost us more money to use the automatic. So when he came in with his original 80, we were going to do it on the automatic. And that's what we were quoting. When he decreased the price because it was going to cost us more money to operate, to run the manual, that's when we moved it to the manual.
And?
It just took us
Does
more.
the manual stink? I mean,
No,
why
it
are you
doesn't
telling?
stink. I'm just letting you know.
You're explaining that it took a really long time.
It takes us because now we're doing this manually by hand instead of the automatic.
Right.
So it was just like I said, a lot of delay, a lot of changes. But initially, we were expecting to get this done. Initially, we weren't expecting this to go this way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Your Honor, they didn't.
Did you see it though before it was packed and went out that it had, these defects like the 5 and that there was missing?
Well, not really, because it was almost like 11 o'clock. His father was still in our shop 11 o'clock while Michael was printing the shirts. So I didn't see any.
Will you ever do this again?
No, we would never do
right.
it again. It's horrible.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's a horrible experience. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Your Honor, they didn't even start the screening, like making the screens until that Thursday.
And Your Honor, that's
So-
because of the delays that he put on us.
By doing what?
Where he delayed the process, with those files, it was the most biggest delay, and also changing his order. A lot of
I don't know how one does not make themselves aware of what the refund policy is. If this is your business, if you've done this before, you know that nobody gives refunds in this business. It's nice and big right on the counter that you were at a bunch of times. Shame on you for not having it on your documents. You should have it on your website. You should have it on your documents.
Right.
But no, I don't think that's going to translate into someone who does this for a living thinking that they'll get a refund. Because each delay, you say, well, look at how horrible this was. You're the one who shows up. They're the only people who would take you because you're doing it in such a delayed fashion. I don't know if this was sanctioned or not sanctioned. It doesn't matter to me. I've got a rule on the contract that's in front of me, and you are most certainly not going to get a $6,000 recovery. On the contract that's in front of me, I have to decide whether you were lulled into some idea that refunds are possible. Refunds are not possible in this business. They're not. Your remedy is to have them redone. You are welcome to have them redone. They are happy to have them redone. But you can't just say, well, they knew it was for an event, so redoing that's silly. It's always for an event. So that's your remedy. That's what I'm ruling. I'm not ruling on a money judgment in your favor, but you certainly have the right to have them redone. Yes. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff's effort to get $6,000 from the defendant does not work. Let's see what he has to say. Chad, what's your reaction to the judge's decision?
I don't agree with it, but her decision's her decision.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, you don't agree with it. There's nothing. Is there nothing you can do with those shirts now? I mean,
No.
they'll do them again.
The quality's so bad you can't sell them, and their integrity is gone, and their workmanship is shoddy. So I don't want them to redo it.
All right, I'm sorry. It was worth an effort to sue them, but as you have heard the judge say, you don't get it. Thank you very much. All right, let's see what the defendant, Michael, has to say about this. He is in his right. He doesn't have to give money back, but he can do them again. So what have you guys learned from this, Michael?
Well, we learned that we need to make our policy more visible, And we need to evaluate when a customer comes in and they want to do a rush order, and we need to evaluate it a little bit more to see if we can get it done.
In other words, whether you want to take the job or not.
Absolutely.
All right, I think you've learned two very important things here. You got to put no refunds on your paperwork, not just on your counter,
Yes.
and examine the job more carefully. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank both of you, in fact. Okay, and so that'll do it for this case. Harvey, what are your thoughts?
You know, Doug, I think this is really a fallacy in the law. You know, they talk about refund policies. The fact is, if you buy a shirt or any other item and it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, you don't have a right to get a refund. You got what you paid for. The reality, though, is that many states, many stores, and frankly, many courts do enforce refund policies.
What animal would you most like to encounter in the wild?
I'd have to go with like big cats, any kind of big cat, tiger, lion, leopard, those kind of things, because their feline movement is incredible to watch.
Yeah.
It's so graceful, and it's kind of mesmerizing to watch them move. And you see it in house cats. Plus, we're on the menu for some of those
So
things.
that's the one you want to
there's
encounter?
an element of danger, you know, knowing that. So I've never seen one. The biggest cat I ever saw in the wild really was a bobcat on a golf course somewhere. First runner-up is probably owl. Because owls are amazing.
You
They're
see
amazing.
owls a lot.
No, not often enough. They can turn their heads 270 degrees, and they're fun to look at, and they're badass predators too.
Okay.
How about you?
Elephants.
Elephants?
Yeah. I think they're graceful.
Yeah.
And they also I don't feel they're going to eat me. So.
Right, yeah, they might step on you.
And they're just massive, and
Yeah.
I just think it would be really cool.
They're amazing. Well, we're going to go to Africa later this year.
We are,
for
next
the first
year.
time ever.
For the first time ever, and I'm very excited about that.
That'll be fun. And I bet you see an elephant.
I bet you see a cat.
I'm sure I will.